Hi, everyone. Welcome into our monthly webinar for March, which is crazy to say that we're already in March of the year. But welcome. As we allow folks to get joined in, I'm going to share my screen because we have a QR code that we would love for folks to have access to. So let me go ahead and share that. Just one moment. Make it nice and large for everyone. But yes, yeah, while we are waiting for folks to join in, here is a QR code, or if you don't have access to your phone to scan this at the moment, I have the website link at the bottom. You can type that in to your URL, but this is going to give you access to our bonus program. So I know Shannon has mentioned this in prior meetings, but this is a fairly new initiative that we've launched. So we'd love to get your all's feedback. I know a lot of you have probably already participated or given us feedback one way or another, and we'd like to reward you for that feedback. So by checking out this bonus program, there's all sorts of different ways that you can contribute, and then you'll get rewarded with some money. So everyone likes free money, right? So yes, check it out while we're waiting to get started. I'll get the background music going, and we'll give everyone a few minutes here before we dive in. All right, if you're still joining in and you missed my little intro, just to catch you up, what you're seeing on the screen is a QR code for our bonus program. So again, if you have your phone handy, feel free to scan it now. That'll give you access to how you can give us feedback to earn some free reward money. If you don't have your phone nearby, you can always grab the website link down at the bottom here, and that'll give you direct access as well. So we hope that you'll give us some feedback. We love feedback from our curators, as you all probably know, with doing these different webinars. So yes, feel free to scan the QR code and take a look, and we hope to hear from you guys soon. And then also before we dive in, I want to do a few introductions. You're probably familiar with myself. I'm Brooklyn. I'm a product manager here at Curate. You're probably familiar with Shannon as well. She's joining us today. Shannon and I typically do these product release webinars together, but we have a new face. So we want to make sure that we introduce Cheryl. You've probably had the pleasure of working with Cheryl through training call or onboarding, maybe in chat. So we are excited to have Cheryl join us here as we get started with the webinar today. So we'll go through and demo some features that have been released since the last time we connected in February. We'd love to hear your feedback on the new features. So please feel free to comment your thoughts, questions in the chat as we go through. Again, we always appreciate hearing your feedback and passing it on to the team on these improvements. So we will get started. I'm going to pass it off to Shannon. She's going to kick us off, and then we'll kind of rotate through the
Mhm.
three of us on going through some different features. So I'll pass it to you, Shannon.
Okay. Well, let me share my screen over here. So I do have quite a few things for us to walk through together. I'm so excited. I always love showing off things that we have in the system. What we're gonna do, let me share my screen here. We are gonna start actually in the workroom of the proposal. Let me share, make sure I'm doing the right thing. Sorry, you guys, I'm struggling with my contacts today. So if I'm winking at you extra lot, it's just because I like you so much. So we're here in the workroom. There's several updates that we have actually made in the workroom. We budgeted a certain amount of time, so I'm going to try really hard not to go over that certain amount of time to look at things in the workroom. But we do have some really exciting updates. So I'm going to start over here in the order. Actually, let me jump down to recipes. That's where actually I'm going to start. You can see it in the order as well, but it is more related to the recipes. So this one I am looking at a floral recipe. It's the same no matter what you're using your recipes for food, for hard goods, for florals, kind of whatever. The update that we have actually made here is we've tried to provide a little bit more clarity on this SRP, suggested retail price, as where is that number coming from for what you should apply to be the cost of that item in this recipe. So in this one, we have multiple recipes that are showing here. So in this example, we've got multiple recipes that are showing here. If I cover over this little eye icon, you can see, okay, well, here's the suggested retail price for the first recipe. It keeps the name there, so you can change the name. For recipe two, that's the suggested retail price. So it tells me my suggested retail price for this line item actually is $57. So over here on the side, you can apply the 57 that it suggested based on your markups, the cost of your items that you entered. You can just click apply or you can override it. Maybe in this case, I wanted to mark it as 75 instead of 57. You can go a little bit deeper. So if I go deeper into this specific recipe, this SRP, this right here is like for the overall, but I can go a little bit deeper and I can see, okay, what is the suggestion for just this recipe right here? And it actually will show it to you there too. It's going to do that little breakdown for you. There's some math that can kind of go into that based on the quantity that you have in the recipe, if it's linked or unlinked. In this case, it's unlinked, but it will display that there. If I go a little further down, you can see this is for one that's just got a single recipe on it. It's going to show you what is the suggested price, and then that's that breakdown for that individual recipe. So we just tried to provide a little bit more clarity on where those numbers are coming from so you can have a better understanding in your recipes. Why is it suggesting that price? So definitely check it out anywhere that you see that little eye icon right there. The second one that we have to make your life a little bit easier is whenever you are in here working in the proposal, you may be making changes and you could be doing this from several different places. But actually, now we have the ability, anytime that you click on this eyeball icon, that's your preview mode. So if you never knew that before, this is how you can be building and see what your customer is going to see without clicking that publish button just quite yet. You may not be ready for them to see your changes. So now if you click that eyeball icon, that's actually going to open up right there within the proposal. It's not going to take you to another screen. That was some feedback that we heard. It's just going to pop up right there within that proposal. So you can see this is a preview of the portal. So what the customer is going to see, you can see any sort of changes you made on your line items or whatever. And whenever you click close, you're going to be right back there where you are working, exactly where you're working. So you're not losing your spot. You're just going to be able to see the preview and you're going to be exactly where you were whenever you started. The other one that is very similar to that, and a lot of people, I've been showing people this. We were at a trade show last week. We were showing people this, very excited by, is now on the event prints. If you are looking at your event print within the workroom of just that event, you're going to see down here at the bottom where you can just choose the event print. Now it is the same where you can pull it up right there within that screen. You're not switching places where you are. You're just right there within that event. You're able to see it, choose from your custom prints that you have built out in here. You can choose from those right here, and you are able to print from right here on this screen. So it just makes it really easy for accessing it if you're just going to do it for one event. It's not taking you away. Again, you're able to print from just where you are and you're able to just return to where you are. You're not losing your spot for that event. So that's another exciting update that we have recently seen. A couple of other small ones. I'm going to hop over here to the orders page over here. Now, one update. So, Brooklyn is going to talk about this view that you're seeing here. She's going to, we talked about it a little bit last month, but she's going to talk about it a little bit more because we're excited about the release that's upcoming with the updated order view. But Brooklyn's going to dig into that a little bit later. But one update that we made is in now, if you click this import from catalog button, we did get a lot of feedback. I'm going to click clear on my filters. We did get a lot of feedback of, oh, if I scroll down, I lose the search bar, so I have to scroll all the way back up and go back to the search bar. Now that search bar is attached there at the top, so you don't lose it. It just becomes a sticky search bar. It's going to stay right there. So whenever you're navigating through, you can still just search right there at the top, so you don't have to scroll back up to the top. So a little feature, but it really does save you some time. It's really helpful right there. The other thing, while you're in here, I think we talked about this a little bit last time, but just a reminder, we have made this update in here where now you can hover over the line item and you can see the name of the line item as well as the description of the line item. So sometimes people want to know, okay, well, which one? Let me see if I've got any duplicates that I can use in here. This is a good one. Even though they both say bridal bouquet, but it lets you see a little bit deeper if you have a description or something like that on there, kind of telling you the difference of what you want to grab. So that's something that's really handy here. Another piece of something that I hear from people is they say, I really want to know what this picture is. I want to see deeper into this picture. Something that you can do is I'm on a Mac and I've just got my trackpad that's right here, and I can just expand my feature so that you can see further. Okay, that's what's actually in that one. If you want to dig deeper into those photos, that's an easy way to expand so you can see those items. If you've got the description, you got the name, but then you can also expand it and see the photos, which is really cool. I hear people, they depend on those photos a lot. So it's nice to have those here. Okay, I'm gonna flip over to the payments. So for another one that was highly requested, I'm gonna kind of demonstrate that one a little bit today. We did make an update to our payments that once a payment, a transaction has happened, and a payment line is marked as paid, that payment line will stay. It will not change anymore in the future. With the way that our payments are set up, you have the ability to change the percentage, to change the custom one, to set it as divide. You have the ability to kind of manage that in your proposals. Well, in the past, if I made changes to the proposal after they did the deposit, that would actually change the deposit number. So it would change this to partially paid. So we heard your feedback on that one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving that feedback there. But we have made an update to the system that once a transaction or a payment due has been marked as paid, that will persist as being paid. So if I jump back into the proposal, I actually implemented a late fee right here. So if that customer comes to me and they're making all of these changes super last minute, I'm say we can do it, but we do charge a late fee. I'm going to make that live. So that's going to actually change the total of my proposal. So let's go back and take a look at those payments again. This one actually I need to do for a divide right there. But whenever I make that change for those totals, let me see. Whenever I make that change, it's not going to apply it. Let me go back over here and see what it did. It's not going to apply it to that fee that's in there. It's going to apply it to the total overall. So it's going to apply it for your future payments, not for the payments that have already been marked as paid in the system. So that allows you to maintain those, kind of keep a clear history between you and your customer. So everything's kind of in alignment there with your payments. It's really helpful. That was great feedback from our customers. We were glad that we were able to implement that. The next one, and I kind of have a lot. I'm sorry, you guys. I kind of have a lot to go over. The next one to take a look at, and we kind of looked at this last month. I was testing it with this one earlier. On your rentals. So if you're a rentals user, if you use the rentals inventory add-on, it is incredibly helpful. If you are managing inventory, the rental inventory management will be incredibly helpful for you. But one of the updates that we have with that is now whenever you move an item to returned, so see we have this black mobile bar here, and you can see that we've got three of those items in inventory. Whenever you move that item to returned, it's actually going to prompt me how many was returned. In this case, I'm going to say actually zero. It was broken. We can't use that anymore. That's going to decrease my inventory in the system. So it helps you manage your quantities of your rentals. So whenever you're checking your items back in, so see now I only have two of those black mobile bars remaining. So anytime that you're checking your items back in, if you mark it as return, it's going to prompt that. You are also able to manage the dates for your rentals here. Sometimes they don't always just align with the day of your event. It's multiple days. Okay, almost there. I'm sorry, just hang on. Almost there. Our last thing I'm going to hop in and take a look at is going to be the contracts. All of this in the workroom. It's crazy how much we can release in a month. I'm sorry, you guys. We're trying to get through it all. If I jump over here to the contracts, we made a couple of updates over here in the contracts. We kind of helped with this table of contents. So we just kind of made it a little bit more usable. You might not see a ton here, but we just made that table of contents just a little bit more usable, um, as well as on the proposal as well on the portal. So you might have noticed some updates here. It's just a little bit easier to move things around, just some UI updates just to make it a little bit more usable for our customers right there. So that's on the contracts table of contents as well as on the portal table of contents, just some updates with those. The other thing that we did with the contracts though is we helped with the signature. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this proposal. And I just need the contracts. So let me grab that link. Just going to paste it right here. We made an update to the signatures on there. So if you have worked with our contracts before, which I hope you are, it's a huge part of our system. You can go in here and click sign. So Kelsey is just an imaginary person, one of our names that we use. So we actually updated it so it is more of like a signature. We had feedback that we wanted to display more like that script text rather than just like a normal written text, a font. So we do have it with that script font, so it's more like a signature. And then whenever you sign, it is a larger font in that signature. So it appears better for the customer. It looks more formal, all right there within the signature box. That will show in the contracts. Let me just do a little refresh right here so you can kind of see that as well in the workroom. So we just increased that font so it just looks more professional. We've got the font on there instead of the text. Just made a couple of updates with that contract signature right there. Okay, I think I'm done talking for now.
Good
Let
job,
me see.
Shannon. That was a lot to
It
cover,
was a
but
lot.
Yes,
It
a
was a
lot of
lot. When we
it
were
was
planning, until I started putting it together, I was like, maybe that's kind of a lot for me to talk about at once, but we
no,
made
it
it. We
was
made
it was great. All
it.
very helpful.
So I'll pass it over to Cheryl. Cheryl's going
yes,
to show us another update in the system.
absolutely. I am going to go ahead and share what I think is the best update is our packages feature. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quick. Just give me 1 second here. Perfect. Can you guys see my screen? I think you guys are looking at the
You're
wrong
good to go.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Can you see where
Yeah.
I'm in the catalog?
The
No?
webinar sheet.
Okay.
We see the
All
webinar sheet.
right. All right. Let me unshare it and change it then. Perfect. Not the right screen. All right, perfect. So I am in the catalog, just hopping right in. As you guys can see here, we have the package under its own sub tab here. I've already added a couple. What you would do is you would just create your packages based off of your products that are already in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a little demo here. We'll do number two because I've already done one. Of course, you can add your tags there. Let's see what we have in here. Assorted muffins. Basically, what this feature is, you're just pretty much combining your items in your catalog to make the
Cheryl,
pack there.
Cheryl, you might want to make your tab like full
Oh,
screen
you can't see it? Okay. Can you see
just
it
to
now?
make it a bigger to see. That looks better. Yeah,
Gotcha.
perfect.
Perfect. So I'm just going to add a couple of products in here so that you guys can see how the package feature looks. Breakfast fruit burrito, perfect. And now we have a package. So when you actually go through the event, I'm just going to go into an event that I was working on, and then you go into the workroom order section. If you import from catalog, you will now see the packages come up and it has its own little box. So I think that's super cool. And then all of those items that I put in that one package are now in the line items here. So I think that's super cool.
Mhm.
If you have any questions on that, we can always walk through it, always talk through it. Just wanted to kind of show that. I think that's super cool. A lot of people were asking about that, so glad we were able to bring that to fruition.
Yeah, we're very excited. So, yeah, lots of ways you can utilize packages. So, like Cheryl said, if anyone has any questions, let us know. But
Yeah,
we're excited that it's live and available for you to use.
absolutely. I am going to go ahead and pass it back to Shannon so she can go over reports.
Okay.
Please
I'm
stop.
sure they want to hear from me again. Sure they do. Okay, so let me share my screen again. So I just have a few items to show off in reports. So two things to kind of look at in reports. I feel like I'm living a lot in reports lately with the people that I'm chatting with. So there's some cool stuff going on. There's a lot of power. Probably in the reports, my favorite report is this events report. You just see and can manage so much there in that events report that's here. So in that events report, one update that we have now, let me actually refresh. I was playing around with it earlier. In this events report, you can change the date range. I just want to click generate because we don't have that many events in this account. So I want to get a decent list here. Here in the report, it is extensive. I will warn you, it is extensive. Depending on how your account is set up, it can be an extensive list of items. One thing that we made an update to, and it's a kind of a small update, but whenever you go to export this data, which I already did it, so I'm just going to show you what I did. Whenever you go to export that data, well, I can show you. It's not that big of a deal. If I export that sheet, it's going to come through as projects. If you have a spreadsheet tool that you like to use, I love Google Sheets. That's just what we use most often. But if you have a spreadsheet tool, you can pull that in. I'm going to go here to click import, and then I'm going to upload that file that I just downloaded, and it was this projects 4. So if you don't know how to import them, this is how you would do it. I'm going to do replace current sheet. I feel like I do this every day. I'm always updating sheets and stuff all the time. Now, one small update that we made is that in the past, some of the columns did not match the way that it looked whenever you exported that data. Now we have it to where the columns are the same based on what was in the events report. So it just makes it a little bit easier for you to manage and build other things off of. Sometimes you can build queries off of this events report, things like that. So that order just makes it a little bit easier for you to manage that. The other update that we recently implemented is if you are using our custom reports where you can build a custom report, you now have the capability to add customer email and a customer name to that custom report. So that can be super helpful if you're building certain sorts of information, certain reports that you may need. You can now enter their information into that custom report to be included whenever you want to pull that custom report. These are examples of some custom reports that you can build out in the system, but yeah, that's how you would visualize those. But now you have that ability to add the email address and the customer's name in there. All right. I'm going to pass over to Brooklyn. So, Brooklyn has some really exciting stuff to show off, stuff that was just released yesterday, some exciting things that were just released yesterday, as well as another look at the orders, which will be released very soon, the orders updates.
Yes, I'm excited to show it off. So let me
Mhm.
share, and then we're going to start in the workroom as well. So I'm going to start with the items that were just hot off the press, released yesterday. And then we'll kind of do a review of what we kind of covered a little bit last month because it's coming very soon. So just want to give another refresher on that feature. So the item that we're going to cover right now is essentially we're referring to it as like a total summary. And so this was highly requested as like a further breakdown of your order within that total, that grand total area. So you can access this by going to your portal tab. We're going to just scroll down to that section. So let me keep going. So I just want to show off what it looks like first before we start playing with it. So you'll see right here we have the grand total. It has the item subtotal, any additional fees that might be on the proposal, your tax, and then how you have that tax labeled with your grand total there at the bottom. So to kind of enhance this, this is optional, but is a great tool if you'd like to kind of add more clarity to your customers of kind of where these numbers are all coming from. So you would hit this little pencil tool to edit your order. Your order details will slide out. And this is where you can edit the header of your grand total like display. So let me scroll back down so we can see as I'm making changes what this looks like. So maybe for whatever reason you don't like the verbiage grand total that doesn't align with kind of your branding, how you want to present your proposal. So maybe we want to say that this is like an invoice total or whatever that might be. You can also utilize tokens in the header if you want to add those in there. But we're going to just say this is our invoice total. So we've changed that name. It's customizable now.
Mhm.
Again, just to kind of match your brand, terminology, way you want to present. And then underneath is kind of what ties into this total summary work. So you can have the option to show the total breakdown or you can hide it, which is what it is right now. So if we toggle this on, it will by default group by order section. And then I'm going to come back to the per person cost in a moment. So I'll toggle that off just real quick. But the order section is just going to be a way to allow you to, again, just summarize your order total. This is going by the order section titles essentially. So if we scroll back up to our proposal, we can see all these different sections. We have cocktail hour, we have cocktail hour apps, we have the reception, we have the ceremony, the staffing. So that's where those titles are coming from. So if you want to kind of just do a breakdown by your section titles, you can choose to do it that way. You can also choose to do a per guest count, per person pricing based off of the guest count that you have associated to this event. So if you don't have a guest count already, let me just take a step back and I'll show you how to add that in if you'd like to use this feature. You would open up your event slide out here. I have a guest count of 50, so maybe we want to change that to 100 people. However many guests you have on the event, that's where that number per person is coming from. Um, so if you'd like to, you can choose, to select them all. You can choose maybe to just show a guest price per section. Maybe you don't need to show it for staffing, but maybe we want to show it, for these
Yeah.
other items we could.
Yeah.
And so just depending on how you want to visualize this, you have the ability to choose. So you'll see here if we zoom in, it'll show like a price per guest. So that was a big request that we had from folks is being able to kind of group these totals in different ways. We also have the option for you to group by product category. So you'll see here, this is flowers, rentals, food, and staffing. If I go back to my actual order, you'll notice that that product category is pulling in, let me go, oops, I clicked too many things. If I go back to my order, you'll see that that category is coming from the line item. So that's a way to utilize these different categories that you're adding to your line items. That's where that's pulling from. And then we
Hmm.
also have the option to group it by section category. So if you didn't know, we also have the option to add a category to your sections. And then you would be able to, let me go back to the order real quick. You would be able to add that section category here underneath the slide out for your section. So where you have some
Love
visibility settings or maybe you have section images, things like that, that's where you can apply a particular section category. And all of this ties into these groupings of how you want to break it down for your total. So I'm going to click this again. We're going to go back down to the bottom. And then you can do by product category or section category. And then again, you can choose to show the per guest count price on any of these groupings. So lots of ways to add clarity or visual or customization. Um, big feature requests from a lot of different folks of just,
it.
again, wanting to try
Yeah.
to add transparency of like they get maybe a lot of requests from their clients of like where is this number coming from? Maybe you even have like minimums that need to be met for certain types of categories or certain types of um, groupings, and this is just a quick way to visualize that and just kind of, add some more details to your grand total or your
Yeah.
invoice total or whatever you want to
I
call it because
love,
you can
yeah.
rename it now.
I love the flexibility there. Really, it does make a huge impact in how everybody can display their own information. I feel like we've kind of been dancing around trying to find a solution for this, and while we've been waiting for it to be built, so it's so exciting to see that kind of come to pass. Oh, good job, Brooklyn. I know you had a heavy hand in getting all of that kind of put together, getting that feedback from customers and things. So amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a fun one to bring to life. So
Yeah. Yeah.
hope everyone tries it out and give us your
Yeah.
thoughts on it. But it's available. Again, you just would access it by clicking the pencil within your order on the portal tab, and then you can play around and configure it however you'd like. It's very
Yeah.
flexible within those groupings, and then again, choosing what you want to put the per person pricing on. Um, and then that kind of ties in. I know Shannon
Also,
kind of
let me
mentioned.
hop in there too, though. I'll say that I always like to give a reminder to people whenever you see these updated features. This is one of those features that I say, once you figure out what you want, go back and do it on your template. So it's just there every single time. So once you figure out the kind of the flow and the setup and how you want that data to display, go back to those event templates and set that up on your event templates so it's just there every time whenever you build a new event. So yeah, this is one of those that it's in your favor to set it up on your template. It's awesome. Yeah, sorry,
Yes, yeah,
Brooklyn. I
good
want to
call
say that
out.
before I
No, that
forget.
is a good reminder. A
Yeah.
very good reminder to save you some time once you kind of
Yeah.
figure out the format and how you like to utilize it. So yeah, definitely lean into your templates and get that structured so it saves you some time in the long run. And then here's another feature that will hopefully save you some time. This is our new order view. I know we mentioned it last month and gave kind of a sneak peek then. But we want to kind of just revisit it because it's coming in the next week or two, I guess.
Hmm.
And so it will be live very soon for everyone. But this is our new order view. So what we're referencing is the order page within your workroom. This is our new table here, and there's lots of functionality that kind of ties with this update. So I'll kind of walk us through just quickly because I know we don't have too much more time together with you all. But I want to go through just a few highlights of this new order table. So, one being a drag and drop of line items between sections. So, for example, maybe we want to move some things around. It's going to be very easy to do so. So, I can grab any line item I want and I can just drag that down into a different section. I can even do that in bulk. Maybe I want to move two at a time, it'll move them down below. So, you can move around those line items between your sections, just making it easier to reorganize your proposals if you misplace something or maybe you're, mid-event and you need to kind of restructure your sections just to clean it up, this is a great way to organize them without feeling like you have to kind of like remove them and then rebuild them in a different section. You can just move them around. We also have the same functionality with our sections. So again, just a quick way to restructure. Maybe we want to add, the ceremony naturally usually comes before the reception. Maybe that doesn't make sense that we added it below. We can just now drag and drop. You'll see it automatically collapses those sections so that I can just quickly place it where it needs to go. So if you have a lot of sections in your event, that makes it very quick to reorganize and just keep them nice and tidy. So we have drag and drop of line items, we have drag and drop of sections. The bulk actions that you saw there with bulk moving line items between sections. And then we also now have the ability if you're at a current scroll position of your workroom. So say we're down here and we want to add a new section. Previously, I mean, we still have it up at the top. If you want to use it, you can add a section. But now when you hover in between a section, you'll see this little plus sign, and I can just click that and it will just add the section directly where I need it to be so that I don't have to scroll. I can just kind of, not disrupt my workflow. I want to add the section here. It just allows me to insert it and then I can keep moving in the direction that I need to with editing and adding items to this particular section. So lots of fun updates coming to kind of improve this experience with adding sections, moving things around, bulk moving items between sections and whatnot. So we hope everyone is excited. As I mentioned, this is coming in the next few weeks. So we finally kind of have a date in mind. We will also add a message in our app coming soon, just as a reminder to all in case you're not on the webinar, just to give that heads up. But that'll give some extra details so that you can reference it too. But we're really excited to roll this out. And yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it for what we want to demo today with our features. So I know we covered quite a bit this month, but lots of exciting things, of course. We're always excited to show them off and improve the app for everyone. So I guess with that, Shannon, do we want to go into any Q&A? I haven't been watching the chat. Is there
Yeah,
anything we
we
need to
can.
cover there?
Yeah, I was trying to answer actually Cheryl's been doing most of the work for chat. So I can't take really any credit for that. But there were a few things that maybe we wanted to take a look at just really quick. So Sheila asked if it was talking about like the timeline portion. Let me share my screen really quickly. Do, 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 do. Can I pull this back up so you guys can see? Okay, perfect. I love seeing the feedback that comes through chat. I know a lot of you don't see it, but it's so fun to see that come back. That's so encouraging for us, for people who have worked so hard in building features and stuff for customers. So please do always give that feedback in chat. We love seeing that come through. Um, the uh, Let me go down to it. Sheila asked about the timeline. How do you add the timeline into your proposal? So I am just realizing I tried to look for an article on it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good at finding it. Cheryl, maybe you can find it better than I can. But I don't know that we have an article on it right now. But if I go over here to Kelsey Thompson, this timeline right here that is in the proposal, it actually comes from this tab over here. We have timelines managed over here on the left-hand side. So you can go over here to the timelines. That's where you can manage it for that specific event, make any sort of tweaks or changes or whatever in there. However, something that I really encourage people to use are the templates for timelines. So if you have some different structures of things that you use that you kind of, it's generally the same. I recommend setting up a template for that because you can put a formula for the date or you can put a formula for the date and then it will autofill that. So you're not having to change the date every single time whenever you do it. So whenever you pull in a timeline, you just choose the one that you want and you can apply that. So that's how generally just how you would set it up. You could do it one by one every single time. If I hop out and I go over here to my templates tab, this is where I can set up my timeline templates right here. And we may even have some in our Explorer templates. If you've ever looked at those before, yeah, here's some timeline templates that you can use and you can add those directly into your account. But you can take a look through here and see, okay, here's some templates that people have made available for others to utilize. If you want to share different templates that you have set up, you can use those, add those right there into your library. But if you set up a timeline, you can do that here and add that right into your proposal. Um, Let me see the other one. There was another one that I was looking at. Um, Sorry, give me just a minute. Okay. Taylor asked, is there a good way to run a staffing report to see what events need staff? Is there a staffing add-on that makes staffing more actionable, like assigning shifts or something? We do have a staffing add-on in the system, where you can add your staff roles, you can have pay rates, you can have bill rates. You can add those right there into the proposal so that you can make sure that your labor margins are more accurate in the system. So you can be sure that you are charging appropriately for the staff that you need for that event. However, that is not going to be something, it's not a true staffing system. It's more for making sure that you are um, getting the roles assigned, because those will display on your prints. Make sure that you are getting the pricing correctly, because that's going to be what's contributing to your totals for your events. The hours, pieces like that. It's not necessarily for assigning shifts for events. You would want to use something like Nowsta or StaffMate. We have an integration with StaffMate that is coming soon. And my I have very limited understanding of that, but it looks like a very good integration that is coming. It's a little bit more robust than our integration with Nowsta was ever able to be, based on some parameters that are there. So if you are using StaffMate or you are using Nowsta, you are able to integrate those with the system, and those are able to assign shifts in those two systems. But we don't necessarily have a staffing report to see what events need staff, because you're just assigning the roles that are needed. It's not actually assigning people to it. We have tips and tricks that we've worked with people on, but nothing as direct as that. Um, I think so. I think those are the ones that I was like tracking for their um I think those are the main ones that I was tracking right there. Um
Yes, and I was just
yeah.
thinking, Shannon, as you were going through that, it would be
Hmm.
a good time to, I know we usually share this at the start of the call, and I think I
Yeah.
forgot, but we always like to give access to our product portal.
Hmm.
So, if there is a request or something that you'd really love to see, please share it with us. We
Yeah.
have access to, let me try to find the link here to share it. And I will post it in the chat to everyone real quick.
Hmm.
There you go. So if you have access to the chat here, if you click that link, it should give you a way to submit your idea, and then that will go directly into our team for review. And then you can also see what has been released over the last few months. So while we like to demo it here on this call, you can kind of reference, maybe some features that you possibly would have missed if you didn't join a prior demo. So this just gives a good overview of kind of what we're working towards and what's been released. And then, of course, we want to hear your ideas. So submit some feedback and requests to us. So then our team will be sure to take a look at it. So, um, yeah, I think that just about covers it for probably today. I know we're just right at time. So, thank you all for joining in. We always look forward to showing off our features each month. Join, make sure you sign up for next month as well. There will be a recording of this meeting or webinar sent out via email. So we'll make sure that everyone gets that here in the next day or so. And there'll be a link to make sure that you're signed up for the future webinars. Always, we like to advocate if you can't join in live, still register so that you get the recording.
Mhm.
So we'll make sure to get you all that information that we discussed today. And then I think that's just about it for this month. We'll see you in April.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.